are back. Yeah, it's been 5 months. It has been my fault. It's not been our fault. First, I just want to say apologies for the lack of uploads. I've been getting my room all done up, and then third year of university, it gets hard to do videos, but I'm going to try and do some videos from now until when I finish uni in April, try and get some out there, and then after that smash it, get as many videos out as possible, because I enjoy doing it and I really love doing the public videos. So we'll be doing some more videos, don't worry, throughout the coming time. But welcome back. It's been a while. We were going to do loads of World Cup stuff, and unfortunately it didn't quite pan out. England got to the semi-finals, absolutely broken-hearted, and the league's in full flow now. So this video is really about which managers can be sacked at the moment, because there are a few, not hearing any names yet, and there are a few managers going about which are in danger of getting sacked, so we're going to talk through them. First up, we have Jose Mourinho, and it pains me to say this as a City fan, because I want Mourinho to stay, just because United are doing so poorly with him. United's worst start to a season in 30 years. They've got a negative goal difference, and they scored 1 goal in the Champions League all season. There's two sides to this story, as always. There's some United fans that want Mourinho to stay, there's some that want him to leave, and there's some in the middle, sort of like another thing that we think of called Brexit. No one can decide what they really want. There's much more to talk about in the terms of, has Mourinho been backed? He spent nearly £400 million, but have the decisions come from Mourinho, or have they come from the top with Ed Woodward? But it's fair to say that United haven't really been that good this season. They've been a bit of a shambles defensively. You've got 3 players in Rashford, Martial and David De Gea who have not signed new contracts, who can leave on a free from January. And they haven't been offered a contract, but they've offered contracts and open talks with Chris Smalling, Antonio Valencia and Ashley Young, and that sums up everything that's going on at Man United at the moment. It's a bit of a shambles from top to bottom. They don't really know what they're doing. Offering a new contract to Chris Smalling seems backwards. I mean, he's a donkey. He really doesn't. He's just not a good player. Ashley Young has done okay, but he's getting on. Same with Antonio Valencia. And when you look at the blue side of Manchester, the favoured side, when they've got an abundance of talent, that squad that they have got. When Guardiola first came in that season, he got rid of the deadwood after the first season, so he got rid of Kolarov, Clichy, Zabaleta, got rid of a lot of older players and brought in a very fresh new look to the Manchester City squad, and look how it's working out for them. I'm not saying that Mourinho's ever going to play a style of football like Guardiola. I feel that he's very dated. He's not really moving with the times as well, whereas other managers have progressed and changed their approach. I've been speaking to Nick about it as well. Nick said the same thing. Mourinho's very dated. He will not change his approach, but Mourinho is a winner. He's won a lot during his career, so does he deserve the time to try and make it work at United? And does the board have to go? Does, like, the Glazers not putting as much money in as they could be, not really backing him as much as obviously Man City have. Liverpool have backed Klopp, Chelsea have backed Sarri as well. So do we need to see something with a change further up at United in terms of the boardroom? Ed Woodward not really doing a great job, but obviously coming on the back of what's happened with Fergie, it was always going to be a struggle for United to carry on that success. And could we be seeing Jose Mourinho getting sacked? I don't think so. The reason for that is that it cost a lot of money. I think Mourinho's trying his best to get sacked. If I got sacked from my job, I wouldn't be getting a £10 million payout. So if I was Mourinho, I wouldn't even be bothered if I got sacked, because if he's not happy at the club, if you get sacked and you get all that money, he's a winner, isn't he? Obviously, I don't think they'll sack him just from the financial point of view. They're in the stock market as well, so they want everything to be as smooth as possible. I don't think they'll sack Mourinho, but should they? It's hard to tell. He's a very good manager. I'm not denying that, but his lack of class sometimes and his comments about younger players make me think that maybe United could go for a fresher approach. But who would they get? Again, that's the $1 million question. Who would they get to replace Mourinho? Haven't got a clue. There's talks of Zidane. Zidane's done it at Real Madrid. He's won 3 Champions Leagues, but it's Madrid. It's Madrid, and you know, there's the old saying, I think my nan could do that at Madrid. But we've seen it this year that Madrid have struggled, so maybe Zidane would be a fresh approach for United. Let us know in the comment section below who you think, if you think Mourinho should stay, or if you think that he should actually step down, be sacked, whatever, and then get a fresh approach in at Man United, because the football that they're playing is not great. Mark Goldbridge has absolutely been slating him over the weekend, and it's a lot of United fans have as well, so it's not really surprised that Jose Mourinho kicks off this video. Next up on this sack race video, we have Mark Hughes at Southampton. Now, Southampton, we remember they were playing some great football. They brought in some great players. I remember when they first came up, they had Luke Shaw at United under Mourinho at the moment. They had Ricky Lambert, Adam Lallana, then they had Virgil van Dijk. They've had some great players in the Premier League. Become a little bit of a selling club, and they've tried to bring in some new players which haven't really worked. Like Gabbiadini is a bit of a one-season wonder. And it's no surprise to see Southampton down in that relegation zone with Mark Hughes at the helm. Mark Hughes was brought in to keep them out of the relegation fight last year, and he just managed to keep them up. And this year, he's not really doing too well with Southampton. After getting some decent players in, like Danny Ings, they've got a decent squad, but it just doesn't seem to be going right for Mark Hughes at Southampton. I don't know. I can't really work out what I think of Mark Hughes. I think his brand of football doesn't leave much to the imagination. He's very long ball. He did a job a bit like Sam Allardyce did during his managerial career. He kept Southampton out of relegation troubles. But other than that, is he really going to be the man to progress Southampton? I don't really think so. If you look at Fulham, when they got rid of their manager, they now got Ranieri, and I thought that was a good appointment. I thought Southampton, if they got rid of Mark Hughes, could have got Ranieri in. Now they don't have that option. I don't know who they get in instead, but Mark Hughes, he's really under threat at Southampton. They've come out and said that they're going to back him. Is it the right decision? I know a lot of Southampton fans aren't really happy with Mark Hughes at the club, and you can see why, because the brand of football that they're playing is dull, and they're not even getting the results to even compensate for that. If Southampton go down, it'd be a disaster for them. A big club down there, nice stadium. If they went down, would they necessarily come straight back up? We know a lot of teams have struggled when going down to the Championship, such as Stoke, as Stoke are finding out this year. So I think it would be a bit of a disaster if Southampton went down, because they're a big club as well, so it'd be nice to see them back up there fighting for European honours. Yeah, Mark Hughes definitely under threat. I don't really know who could replace him should he be relieved of his duties at Southampton, but if there's any Southampton fans watching, would you get rid of Mark Hughes, and who would you get in return? Because as it's going at the moment, he's not doing too well, and we could see his departure within the next few weeks if results don't pick up. Next up on the sack race, we've got our final Premier League one, and it's Sean Dyche. Last year, Sean Dyche did a miracle with Burnley. He actually got them into 7th place. European football, granted they didn't get to the group stage. He's had some tough draws against Olympiacos. They had some really tough draws, so they didn't make it to the group stages. They had a solid defence last year. Dyche got them to 7th, which I said before is a magnificent achievement. This year they've just slipped into the relegation zone after the defeat at home to Newcastle, and there's quite a few Burnley fans that don't really want to see Sean Dyche at the club anymore. Granted, the investment from the club hasn't really been there. I mean, who has he had to sign? Other than a few signs like Vidra, he's not really had the money to go out. When you look at Fulham, Fulham came up this year, they spent 100 million. They're not in the relegation zone. Granted, they're not doing too well either, but at least they tried to make that initial investment, whereas Burnley, I don't think that the board have actually backed Sean Dyche on the back of a brilliant season last year. They must have got quite a lot of money as well for what they achieved last year, so it would have been nice to have seen them invest it back into the playing staff and obviously the transfer budget. But Sean Dyche, as always, has made the best out of a bad situation. Got Burnley promoted on one of the smaller budgets to the Premier League, got them into 7th place like we said, and now he's under pressure as they are in the relegation zone. Maybe it is his fault as well. He does have a lot of he has to take some of the blame. They're playing some poor football. The game against Newcastle, very long ball, leaving Vidra on the bench, playing Vokes, and then bringing on Ashley Barnes. Does seem a bit backwards. I know a few fans have actually expressed their dismay. Sean Dyche at the moment, and a few of them actually want him to move on. Maybe he has took Burnley to where they can go under him, and maybe it's time for him to start a fresh challenge. But I don't think if Sean Dyche was to leave Burnley, he'd be short of offers. He's been absolutely fantastic since he took over at Turf Moor. Who would Burnley get in? If Sean Dyche was to go, I'm not too sure either. I know they want to play a different style of football, but not always a different style of football is going to get you the results. So I think I'd rather have a Sean Dyche style of play and stay up than have, say, a Guardiola-esque type of play and go down. We saw that with the Fulham manager who's just departed. He tried to play football and it wasn't working out too well, so they've got rid of him. They got Ranieri in, and he also plays a nice brand of football. But you know, you're not always going to be like Manchester City, Liverpool, who can play this type of passing football. You know, should Burnley fans just be happy to be in the Premier League? I'm not too sure. I mean, I think given last year, Burnley fans are allowed to want a certain expectation for their club, but at the same time, they are doing remarkable things. They are in the Premier League, they're on the European tour this year, and I don't think sacking Dyche would be the answer to their problems. Maybe the owners need to take a look at themselves in January and think that they need to back Sean Dyche as they make an effort to stay in the Premier League this season. So a January transfer window could be vital. But we're going to be down for the Burnley against Liverpool game at Turf Moor. We're going to be asking the fans what they think about Sean Dyche. Hopefully they all want him to stay, but I'm sure there'll be some fans who are actually on the fence and actually want Sean Dyche maybe to leave, or just to say his job's not as safe as he may think it is. So we're going to be going down to Turf Moor on the 5th of December. And if anyone wants to come and speak to us while we're there, please feel free to do so. And that pretty much wraps it up for this edition of the Sack Race. That's what I'm going to call it. So you've got Jose Mourinho really under pressure at Man United. They've scored one goal during their whole Champions League campaign at home. Their reliance on players like Fellaini playing a bad style of football. A lot of United fans have grown discontent. And then we had Mark Hughes at Southampton. Not doing too well down there, so he's under a lot of pressure as well. I think he'll be the first out of the four that we've mentioned to actually be sacked by his club. No offence, Mark. I'm sure that payoff will be fine anyway, so you're not really going to be struggling once you leave your position. And I'm sure there'll be a job lined up for Mark Hughes along the road. He's got a brilliant footballing CV in terms of management. And then we've got Sean Dyche at Burnley, and I don't actually think Sean Dyche should be sacked, but he's coming under a lot of pressure at Burnley within their fans and also from the board upstairs, because they've not really backed Sean Dyche. So if it was to happen and Sean Dyche was to get sacked, I don't think that would be the right decision for Burnley to take. So if there's anyone else you think could be sacked, please let us know in the comments below. Yeah, so we're back. We're going to try and do some more videos, but thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you think of my opinions down in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Go and have a look at us on social media. And until next time, we'll see you soon. Cheers.